Hi, Rich Tehrani here in the TMC newsroom, Supercom 2009, Chicago, Illinois, and it is day 3, and I'm speaking today with Arie Goldberg, who's the CEO of Omnitron. Arie, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Thanks for being on the program.
Thanks very much for having me.
I'd love to know more about your company. If you could just share with us and the viewers, we'd appreciate it.
Well, we are a company that makes primarily demarcation devices, fiber optic cable type of demarcation devices, but we also provide T1 or TDM type of devices for pseudo-wire, as well as T1 multiplexing and WDM type of multiplexers.
And what sorts of trends are you seeing in the market right now?
I think the trend is moving to Ethernet, of course. TDM is moving to carrier Ethernet. Personally, I'm involved in that at many levels. We're very active at the Metro Ethernet Forum. I'm actually on the board of the MEF, and what we see is providers going from a local service distribution to off-net, and they provide carrier type of services across networks, across partners, and wholesaling type of arrangement with other companies. So, demarcation devices become very, very important because they need to communicate across multiple networks. And as a consequence, things like OEM and management features are extremely important to make sure that the integrity of the network is maintained and communication lines are the same quality as traditional TDM.
And how is your product line evolving to help your customers as this change takes place?
Well, originally, if you're thinking 5 years back, a typical demarcation device for fiber optics was a simple media converter, and that was the extent of it. Today, as a system become much more mission critical, you have much more management implemented into those termination devices or demarcation devices, more OEM features, monitoring of fault, management of performance. People want to make sure their packets get from one end of the network to the other end within some parameters of time delay and jitter, etc. Because when they're putting voice over IP applications over the network, when they're putting video, suddenly those parameters become extremely critical, and best effort, like a traditional internet access best effort type of services, are no longer adequate. So you need to have much stronger discipline in the way services are delivered to customers.
Now, in terms of macro trends of purchasing, are you seeing any signs of 2010 spending from your customers versus 2009?
I think we're going to see some increases. We've already seen in 2009 increase over the beginning of the year. I mean, the beginning of the year was pretty bloody, if you wish.
For many companies, sure.
Right. So the first 2 months or the first quarter was pretty poor. But as we're coming out of Q1 into Q2 and Q3, we see increase of business, and we see that service providers are getting back with the program and planning for sure. And many of them are actually purchasing and deploying equipment.
And how do you see your products evolving over the next few years?
It's going to be more management, more integration of traditional TDM services and Ethernet when you're providing services to mobile backhaul type of application where they're required to support their existing legacy TDM, as well as looking forward into the LTE type of applications. So you need to have both TDM and Ethernet, and I think we're going to see also with the major demand for bandwidth, we'll see more bandwidth required both at the mobile backhaul as well as business services, because all the telephones that have all the multimedia type of applications, all the iPhones, etc., they require a lot of bandwidth, and you see much of that growing. So when we were looking maybe at 10 megabit services few years back for businesses, now we're going to see more in the hundreds of megabits and probably going into gigabit. We already are shipping even some 10 gigabit product for business services.
Wow, that's very exciting. So the trend towards increased bandwidth is not going to stop. It's just going to continue, it seems, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so I've seen 5-year projections, but there's no reason to think that 5 years out, after 5 years, it'll slow. It seems like more applications, more video, 3D video, HD 3D video, et cetera, right?
I think that's right, because even in this show here, you can see people who are inventing new applications every day, and all of those applications need more and more and more bandwidth. And obviously things like the cloud computing will require additional bandwidth,
sure,
more demand on the system, where people are using remote sites for storage of data, for retrieval of application information, etc. And that all means just more and more bandwidth.
Well, that's good news for you and the rest of the
For
industry.
everybody.
Yeah. So fantastic. Thank you for being on the program, Arie. It was a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure. Pleasure is all mine. Thanks very much.